You do it every week.
There we go. Yeah, I know, and it asks me stupid questions every week. Welcome to the Firearms Insider Gun and Gear Review Podcast, episode 265. On this show, we showcase gun reviews, gear, and anything else a gun enthusiast may be looking for. We strive to evaluate products from an unbiased and honest perspective. I'm your host, Chad Wallace from the Firearms Radio Network, your source for all things firearms related. In this show, we'll be discussing the Kineti-Tech trigger review, the Kidon, Flick 3, and CCI Clean, which probably isn't for Zane because it's clean. Tonight on the podcast, we have the usual Tony, Zane, and Rob, plus me, of course. So let's see. Tony's probably going to take a while. So Rob or Zane, you guys can go first with what you did in firearms.
I've been working like 14-hour days, so I ain't done squat since we had our last little conversation. And I must say to Chad, it took you 30 minutes, but you finally got us live and on the air. So thank you.
Hey, right on time. Okay, 5 minutes late.
Oh, gosh. We're going to dock your pay.
Yeah, you can cut it in half for all I care.
And I get a 50% raise.
Yeah. Zane.
I didn't do anything. I did drink a little less than Rob, though.
Well, that's
Hey,
good.
I resemble that remark. Hey, wait.
Yeah.
Last week, Zane was the drunk one. This week, I get to be the drunk one.
No,
Wait till I read the disclaimer.
most weeks I'm the drunk one.
Well, see, I have to deal with a firearm, so I can't drink it.
Wait a minute.
Or
Is
at
that
least-
loaded, Chad?
No, you want to see it?
Oh, good. I don't want to be muzzled with a loaded gun on a camera.
I
There you go.
love every YouTube video you ever watch where someone doesn't like clear the gun first. The internet safety Nazis come out and it's like, I don't care if your gun's loaded or not on the other side of the internet.
Yeah, I could give it.
I couldn't care less.
I mean,
You know, it
truthfully,
might make for good video if you shoot yourself while we're, and there's blood splattered on your camera.
I mean,
Who would be dumb enough to do that?
That Tex Grubner video has gone viral. So
I've watched it multiple times.
However you say his name.
I watched it multiple times.
So, did you do anything, Zane?
No, I did not.
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember. Tony.
What did I do? The last diversity shoot was awesome. A lot of fun. A lot of new people. Wow. It was funny because we went into the diversity shoot with 19 tickets sold. I was like, cool, nice, easy night, small, intimate. And then another 18 people bought tickets at the door, came in with cash. So they maxed out the classroom. People were standing up, but it was great. A lot of new people, a lot of young people from different races. It was awesome. Some people coming back for the second time. It was very diverse crowd. Sunday, I went to Range 14 over at Fort Dix, and some friends were there, and they had their guns out. So we had 450 Bushmaster. I got to run some rounds through that. I got some video of me shooting that thing. They built it with a Bear Creek Arsenal upper. Then what else? The KS7 from Kel-Tec. I got to shoot the 12 gauge bullpup, 7 rounds on deck, 5.9 pounds. The thing is like 6 inches, whatever the limit is. It is very, very short, very compact. And I really didn't like it that much because it batters the heck out of your offhand. Whichever's holding the pump is getting slammed into the thing that stops you from sticking your hand in front of the muzzle every time. And we were using birdshot. And it was just beating my hand up, and the thing wouldn't feed cellar and bellet buckshot at all. So luckily, I had some birdshot in my car, and I was able to put it in, and we were able to run some rounds through it. And then I shot the Crooked Precision Rifle. I zeroed it because we got a kid shoot coming up. So I zeroed it, and it was a butt ton of fun, dude. If you don't have one, buy one, and use your kid as an excuse to get it.
Oh, Tony, I was going to say, just for everybody's benefit, if you were using reduced recoil birdshot loads, you wouldn't have that problem.
I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming.
Yeah, no, I was looking for some, but there wasn't a women's store anywhere around, so I couldn't find it. But yeah, the cricket shot really well, really accurate once I zeroed it in. And it is just so funny because it does in photos alone look like a large rifle until you start putting things beside it. And then it just looks like you've been shrunk. So
Yeah, it almost
fun.
looks like one of those miniature like model ones that you can buy
Hmm.
now.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what it looks like.
Yeah. Well, I went to our local gun show, which is happens to be one of the better ones in the state. But I picked up for review some hanging steel with the stand, and it's like an A-zone IPSC target. Uh, uses a 2x4, so you can make it different heights. It's for reviews, so here in the future you'll get a review on it. It's from Thor Targets. They are somewhat local, but it's pretty cool. Go head over to the Instagram. You can see a picture of it, or part way picture of it. That was all I did. So we'll get into the announcements. Our bandwidth sponsor is Patriot Patch Co. As usual. There are no new patches for pre-order, but you can go check out the Patch of the Month Club. And this month's or March's patch is Beware Short Barrel and Shorter Temper. And, it has a Chris Vector, something like that on it that's green. It's pretty cool. Yeah. But, I've seen I personally think it's okay, but it's no kilt in the streets, so I'll just leave it at that. Uh, if you need AR parts, you can use our GunTech affiliate link. Also, go check out gunstreamer.com for some new firearms content. They're basically a video platform, but it's gun friendly, so go check them out. You can also, if you're shopping Amazon, use our affiliate link at firearmsradio.tv/Amazon. And if you're shopping Black Bag Resources and want to donate to Tony, use the code 2A4E. And as you all know, that stuff will be donated to Tony.
That's awesome. Oh, hey, did you know
Totally.
gun streamers also getting patches made?
Along with you, for you, or something like
Along
that.
with us. It was a whole deal because usually I would have gone through our Patriot Patch Company, but they were doing it as a 2A fundraiser on Indiegogo. So you can actually find 2A Patch Fund. Go check out Indiegogo. You can punch that in. It was like Gun Streamer, myself, Never Enough Ammo, Gun Channels, Artisan Tony, Yankee Marshall. It's like 11 of us, 12 of us, all going in to get some patches made. And you got to get in a hurry because it ends on the 13th. And all these patches are actually going to be serialized. So you're actually going to have a numbered patch. So if you're one of those people that are into patch collecting, this is something you're going to want to do because this is going to be the first patches I ever made. A few of us ever made. This is going to be the first round of patches. So if you're one of those people that are into that, this is something to go to. And if you only want to order, I don't know, let's say a 2A4E patch, you can do that too. It's like $15 or something. No, I don't get paid on this. We're doing it so we can get word out and then we can get some patches back ourselves that we can do stuff with. So yeah, Indiegogo 2A Patch Batch 2019. And you can support a bunch of 2A content makers, content creators. Thank you.
Nice. Yeah, I think there's a link on their front page also to that. But now I think it's for Rob's turn to see how he can do tonight on the disclaimer.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the individual co-hosts and do not reflect the official policy or position of the Firearms Radio Network and or their employers. Viewer discretion is advised. This is especially true on live shows when one of the hosts is totally drunk. And now to talk about the Kineti-Tech trigger, here we go. Chad, take it away, sir.
I have to thank you for that intro because I think that was one of the best disclaimer / intros you've done.
I need to get drunk more often.
I'll give it top 5. I'm not going to say best.
Wow.
No, It was
But
up
no,
there. I was waiting for it to go sideways, but no.
Yeah, I was kind of waiting for it too.
Well, you know why? I took my time and I read every word, and I said I'm gonna be nice and slow.
Yep. Okay, we'll go on with the review. Like Rob said, this is the Kineti-Tech trigger, and it is for Glock pistols, polymer 80s, Gen 3, 4, I think is what they list them for. Probably it is a complete drop-in trigger. So I contacted them because it interested me because you can get the complete drop-in assembly for under $100. For people that just want something they can drop in, that's kind of why I reached out to them. They have 4 different style of little trigger shoes. We'll get into that in a minute. Mine is their option 4 is the one they sent. Basically that right there gives you a bunch of different options. They have, they're all smooth on the face, but they have non-radiused and smooth, curved trigger, as you could tell. They have one that's flat with a hook on it. They have the standard straight, and then they have this one, which is kind of, I called it a short straight, or that's what they call it. It's kind of a short flat. It's kind of got a little, kind of comes down and has a little cut and then goes flat. I actually kind of like this design of the trigger. It shortens the overall reach of it for me, as opposed to like a straight flat one.
Does it have a little lip at the bottom? Can you hold it up to the camera?
It does
again?
not have a little lip at the bottom.
Okay, cool.
That's their hooked trigger.
Gotcha.
That they have. But like I said, they have all 4 different ones, but they make a straight one that just kind of comes down straight from right where it comes through the frame. And that's not this one. Like I said, I installed it in my Polymer 80, as you can see. Because it was a complete drop-in, installation was super easy. Just basically punch some pins out, drop it in, and put it back in. They have different options. You can buy the complete trigger. They make just a shoe option or a shoe and a trigger bar. Prices vary depending on that. This particular trigger that was in here pulled 7 pounds. And when I dropped this one in, it reduced it to 5 pounds. It had a pretty stiff Glock trigger in it. I don't know why. It's just the way it was. And I never really messed with it. So it decreases the pull by about, I'd say about 1/8 of an inch, but you can see it's still out there a ways and goes back quite a ways. Trigger pull's smooth, but the stock trigger was smooth also. The brake doesn't feel as crisp to me. That's kind of, a lot of upgraded triggers kind of feel this way. Reset is real good. I'll show you here. That's reset. It's pretty short, as I was, and it's pretty positive. So that's a good thing. Let's see. I did install a 3.5 pound connector in it after initially. Reduced the pull weight to about 4.5 pounds on this particular gun. I only shot it about 200 rounds, then I reinstalled this one that came with it.
Did you find with the 3.5 pound connector, like I found with most aftermarket triggers, the trigger feels more like a rolling brake and less of a crisp brake, more of like a revolver trigger.
It feels more mushy to me, but
yeah,
that's how
I agree. I don't find that with the stock trigger nearly as much, but with almost every aftermarket trigger, it feels. And if you're into a rolling brake, cool.
Yeah, it's just kind of how I feel about it. That's why I went back to the standard 5 pound one, because I prefer the crisper brake, and it's not like it's going up to 10 pounds or something where it's going to matter. Plus, once in a while I carry this gun, so that is a little nicer. I really liked it. Had a nice feel to it. It is made from 70-75 aluminum. They anodize, all their triggers are black. You can get a red or black trigger safety. I actually like the looks of the red one. It gives it some contrast, but to each their own. like I said, it doesn't feel like a stock Glock trigger, and that makes me happy just because I don't really care for the actual feel of the Glock triggers. Plus, being aluminum as compared to a plastic, they don't flex as much. Like I said, I don't have any hard data for this. It's just my experiences. I wouldn't say it's a competition trigger, but it is better than the stock trigger. So I'd probably label it as a tactical trigger. And I kind of don't really like that word, but that's the best I could give it. And since everybody's making Glock triggers nowadays, I think they did a decent job with theirs. It's priced well, easy to install, but most of all, it's an improvement. So, check them out if you're in the mood for upgraded Glock trigger at a decent price. Firearms Insider, 8 key points. Aluminum Glock trigger with 4 different shoe options, of course. Anyone wanting a decent trigger is the target market. Features and benefits, you can get the different shoes. It's 70-75 aluminum. It has a short reset, and it has a pull weight reduction, and you can get it with an optional polished trigger bar. This one did not come with one, so I don't know how the polished trigger bar would help. I mean, it makes them smoother, supposedly. What other options are available? You get the other shoe options or the red or black trigger safety. Yeah, I could find a few things on what others were saying. I could not find any other reviews. The price point, you have $47.95 to $116.44, and the $47.95 is just the shoe. The $116.44 is complete with the polished trigger bar. And for retail, I put it's $96.44 as tested. And if you need it now, go to the Kineti-Tech website and order one up. So the pros, decent trigger pull, has great reset, the price. I really like the feel of the trigger shoe, and it is US made. The cons, it's still longer take up than I would like, and not as crisp of a trigger break. Somewhere between the, super rolling trigger to the crisp break. It's kind of in between there. So I gave it a 7, which is good. And, it's not, I think it's worth the price you pay. I would actually consider just buying the shoe and putting it in a different pistol, because that's, it's a little harder, but for the review, I wanted the full drop in. I thought that would work better for most people.
So pro tip, if you have a gun and you have a couple thousand rounds through it and you get just a shoe, you have a polished trigger bar.
Yeah. Well, they polish like everything on the trigger bar.
Yeah, no, all the ones I have in all my guns have polished trigger bars. But I mean, if you just want to cheap out and get just the shoe and you've got a couple thousand rounds through the gun, the parts that need polished are polished. And
they're already smooth. And yeah.
How much take up is there in that before it hits the safety? Like if you press the trigger to the rear without touching the safety, how far does it move?
Oh, you mean
the shoe safety.
Well, look here.
So it's got quite a bit of.
Yes.
They could have taken another 1/8 of an inch out of that.
Yes.
With geometry and whatnot.
Yes.
Okay. I see what you're saying with the long take up. Yeah.
Right. But the reason
shorter, asking a Florida man to do math right there.
Still shorter than stock, obviously. But
yes.
That's quite a bit of movement before. And now you have to have a little bit, otherwise the trigger's going to drop safe.
Yes. So. But like you said, I mean, you don't need that much. I mean, if it started there, that would still give you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, gee, here's an idea. How about Glock design a decent trigger with their guns to begin with?
That's not going to happen. But
actually, they finally did.
I was going to say the Gen 5 trigger's pretty good. Like I said, I did that Fowler Industries trigger a couple weeks back, and I like it. But it's not on Gen 3s and Gen 4s for me. As soon as they come out of the box, they're getting sights and triggers. A Gen 5 might only get sights.
Yeah, Gen 5 triggers a lot better. It's a good trigger for a Glock. I'd be mad if somebody put that exact same trigger on my on a PPQ, PPQ and the VP9 have much better triggers, and Glock's not even close.
I can agree with that.
The Gen 5 is a really good Glock trigger.
Well, I guess I'll have to take one of my Glock pistol purchase coupons and go down and buy a Gen 5 Glock and see if you guys are right.
Dude,
you do that.
Just get a Glock 45.
And when you don't like it,
wait a minute, which one's a Glock 45? Because I can't track these freaking numbers they come up with.
It's a 9mm with the party in the front. What is it? Business in the front, party in the back. It has the longer
that's it.
A mullet Glock?
Yes.
It's a mullet Glock.
It's a 17 frame and a 19 slide, and it's black, and it has the good trigger in it. It's got, I think it has the front cocking serrations on it. It has.
Yes, it does.
It's the best gun Glock has built to date, in my opinion.
Until they come out with the Gen 6 Glock, then Zane will be, oh my God, I love the Gen 6 Glock. The Gen 6 Glock is so wonderful.
Where's that mute button?
Let me have some more Kool-Aid, please.
Hold on.
I took the guy showed up at the range for our social shoot in December.
Hey Zane, you're a little late on the button, brother.
Right out of the box, we were shooting the Glock 45 at 200 yards, ring and steel on a 14-inch target, like consistently. The thing is,
when you say Glock 45, you're talking Glock Model 45, not the Glock 45 ACP.
Correct.
Glock Model 45, not the Glock 21, not the Glock 30, the Glock 45,
not the Glock 36.
Oh dear God, I am so confused.
I'm going to get
glad
you guys
FN
off
just makes a few different pistols.
I'm going off this Glock thing and going to.
Oh, we're not off a tangent. We're way in left field right now, brother.
I'm going to the product spotlight and discussion. Where
can I just say?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can
I just say
STFU guys?
Based on the from comment in the chat, so CZ Tendency is not a Glock killer. Sorry about your luck.
No, it's not. Nothing is a Glock killer.
No,
at all, and never will be. The only Glock killer out there may be Glass and Glock.
I beg to differ.
Let me tell you something.
If Tony shoots a Glock with his high point, it might kill the Glock.
It definitely won't kill a high point.
No, it won't.
Exactly.
I mean, P10C's a good gun. Probably a better gun out of the box, but it ain't a killer.
I'm waiting for Gaston to turn the reins over to somebody else, and then next thing you know, Glock's going to come out with something like a little pistol caliber carbine.
Yeah. Maybe.
And speaking of pistol caliber carbines,
we're into the product spotlight and discussion.
Hey,
all right,
I can do the segues.
So what we have?
No, this is not a PCC. This is a conversion kit. We're going to talk about.
Yeah. Okay.
Way to ruin my segue.
This is the Polymer 80, and I say that loosely because it's made by IMI. Kidon pistol conversion, and with an MSRP of $495.99, I think I'm going to. Well, I'll leave my thoughts for later, and I will explain to you this.
Thank God.
This is a pistol caliber carbine that you put your pistol in. It's like a little compact thing that gives you a place to grip, a shoulder brace.
I think a chassis would probably be a decent.
Yeah, that's a hard. Yeah, I can live with
it.
It
looks very much like one of those Roni things.
Yes, and they call that a chassis, I think. So yeah, and it's being brought in. Polymer 80 is the sole distributor of this. Is basically why it's from there. But you can, with this chassis system, you can get 100 different pistol adapters, or there's not 100 adapters, but for different makes and models of pistols. Now I'm going to read this unique features thing word for word, just because it's a lot easier, or most of it. It says, Kidon is ambidextrous and can be modified for right or left-handed shooters by easily adjusting the charging handle. Okay. It says reduced recoil, smart shock absorber technology built into the rear of the Kidon system. I'll skip the ergonomic stuff because, well, that's personal preference. It's got a front angled grip, pick rails. Okay. Yeah, you heard me right. Pick rails at 12, 3, 6, and 9 o'clock. Not like M-Lock or something. It's been tested with the Israeli military shooting in rain, rough conditions, snow, water, dust, mud. 15,000 rounds of 9mm, 5,000 rounds of 45 ACP. Okay, so with the kit, you get, of course, the stock system, the front support grip, Allen keys to install it, the shock absorbing sling, QD port owner's manual, the option of flip up sights, and buffer tube. So it doesn't, this is not, a buffer tube is not included. So I guess it doesn't have an arm brace on it. And I'm not even going to read all the available adapters, but because it's for the Polymer 80, the one it comes with is for the Polymer 80 frames. But basically, if you have a pistol, any big name pistol, you can buy an adapter for it. I think the adapters are $30. Now that I read all that for you guys, I'm going to say I put this in the show notes and I'm trying to be positive about it, but I don't even know why somebody would want one of these. Did
you get a good kickback for putting this in the show notes, Chad?
They don't know.
No, I didn't. But our old host, Mr. Ryan Cross, said I should try to get one for review. And my only comment was, why?
Yeah, exactly. What would you do with this?
They don't make one for a high point, so I'm a little disappointed.
So Tony can't get one.
Yeah, but for the price of the kit, I could buy 2 high point carbines. So
exactly,
well, and for the price of the kit,
you can buy about 4 high point pistols.
Or 5.
Yeah, can I be dead dog honest with you? You're looking at $500 for this, another $500 for a Glock 17 or whatever you want to put in this thing. That's about $1,000. You could buy a freaking Ruger 9mm pistol,
and not only that, but then
or the rifle, one of the rifles.
But then you also have to factor in the cost of the arm brace. And then you have to put sights.
I can.
Hey Tony, how many high points can we buy for that? For this, what we're talking about right now?
I can go to, let's see, Palmetto Armory and get a complete pistol.
Hey Zane, what did you spend on your pistol carbine rifle that you made?
For maybe $50 more.
Mine came in at right about $1,000.
Okay, so I'm looking at this and I'm looking at the Roni because I mean that's what
it's compared to, yeah.
The fully loaded Roni with everything, of course, except the pistol, still comes in. Again, this is with the brace and everything. You can take it and shoulder it immediately, and it comes in at like $450, $448. So I could get all of that, and it still has the ability to take a lead. It still has the ability to take a laser. Now, what are they bringing to the table that the Roni isn't? They're bringing the ability to use a bunch of other firearms. They're talking about a CZ75. We're talking about just a lot of other adapters that you can throw on here, USPs, everything. So if you have some of these pistols and you want to keep using them, go ahead. You can get this kit and put it on it. I think it's just a lot of money because I'm thinking by the time you're said and done, because each adapter costs $30. Plus is the price of the kit, which is $400 and what?
$95.
$500. Just like $500.
$500 for the kit, $30 for the adapter. Then you have to buy a stock or stabilization kit, and that's like $225. I mean, it just keeps stacking up on each other. Now get your accessories for the thing. Get your flashlight. Get your optic, bruh.
Yeah.
You're gonna be in. You're gonna be in over
way
$1,000.
Over
$1,000.
So after it's all said and done, you get something that is not as stable.
No.
As any carbine you can get or pistol caliber carbine you can get. You can buy SIG MCX. You can buy just
what are the MCXs coming in around 800?
You buy an MPX.
MPX. Yeah, I'm sorry, I got the name wrong. MPX.
Yeah. You can wait a minute. Let me tell you something. I've got an MPX with the SBR with the brace.
I don't know why he's yelling.
Why are you hollering?
Well,
I'm sorry.
We can turn him down.
Do that. I mean, you could literally buy the SIG, like Tony said, you could buy the SIG MPX, put the brace on it, or put an actual collapsible stock on there, and put the $200 tax stamp on there, and be around $1,200, and then you've got a legal SBR.
Yeah, and I'm looking at, okay, let's say everything. Say the Beretta CX Storm. I went on gun deals, $599. The Ruger PC carbine, $449. You know what I mean? The Kel-Tec Sub 2000, $369. Wyndham Weaponry 9mm Glock, AR-15 attached Glock mags, $799. All of this is better than this thing, and that's before you get to little stuff like the Endomag. You know what I don't know if we talked. I think we talked about this.
I mean,
I think we did. The insert goes in your magwell.
No, yeah, and it's $499.
I'm sorry, not in your magwell. The actual magazine that the insert goes in, right?
Yeah,
okay,
it pops out. This isn't a replacement barrel. This is just putting your pistol into the chassis, and you've still got a 5.5-inch barrel, right?
Yes, whatever your pistol has.
Okay,
4-inch, 3.5.
Now you want a short barrel rifle? How's this for $1,000? You could get the Tavor 9mm.
So the other thing,
about as much as you could pay for this, you can actually get a Tavor that takes Glock's mags.
The other thing I'm looking at with all these type chassis systems is how good is the lockup. So if I put an optic on top of this, how much movement is there between the pistol and this that's going to affect my sighting, my accuracy out to any decent distance? Because let's be honest, if we're doing this, it's not to shoot at 3 and 5 yards. Maybe it is. I don't think it is. So how is that affected by just throwing a gun into a piece of plastic as opposed to a purpose built like an MPX or a Scorpion or whatever?
Yeah.
I mean, what I'm seeing though is this is probably going to. I'm assuming this is going to lock up with your rail on the bottom of the pistol, right?
Yes.
Yes. So I wouldn't imagine this thing locking up to the slide because it'd be.
It does both. Down. It does both. If it's like the Maloney, it does both.
Yeah, because it's got a charging handle, so you have to hook it to the slide somehow.
Oh, I didn't see that. Okay, well,
yeah, that's the adapters. So it's tight enough. Whatever. I mean, I've shot a Roni. I have not shot this, and it's tight enough. It's fine. But man, how much money are you going to drop on a range toy? Again, the entire Roni kit and all is $400, $450.
And let's be clear about what this is. This is a range toy. Like,
I'm sorry. Wait, Zane, hold on. Wait a minute.
That's all I see it for.
Zane, Tony, they've got a guy with the thing in front of a police car dressed like a police officer holding it. I mean, this is a real legitimate police toy.
No, God, that picture is so cringeworthy.
I'll take it back.
Come on.
No, because listen, if the thing runs, if it's dependable, but you have to run it. Again, like we say all the time, there are no shortcuts. This might be the greatest thing since sliced bread, but for the amount of money you dumping into it, you could get a dedicated pistol caliber carbine and or rifle that has a track record and is not pretty much an accessory.
Right. And
I'd rather go for that Ruger 9mm. That seems pretty cool.
I'd rather go for the Scorpion. Again, heritage, rounds down range, issued to actual police departments. You know what I mean? Who's issuing a kit gun?
You know, I'm really glad that by sticking this in here, that I'm not the only one that does not.
Oh my God, that picture's so cringeworthy.
There's like 2 or 3 in there.
Yeah, no, the one where he's like just standing there, like they're all bad, but the one where he's
Manchester
standing there.
Police Department. Yeah. Oh wait, he's a supervisor though. Come on, he's a supervisor.
Yeah, he's a lieutenant.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny because when I was picking out pictures for this episode, I had to go through them, and I was like, "Okay, I want something that seems cool."
It was hard to find, huh?
And I just had to find the one that looked less sucky.
Well, I tell you what, I do like that Magpul angle foregrip they have on. I've got that on a few of my rifles.
No, that's an IMI foregrip.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's the IMI Defense FSG1 front support grip. So I'm thinking you could probably buy it for your AR.
Oh crap! Well, I guess I'm not good on this one.
I still don't understand how people are getting away with putting 4 grips on pistols. I understand the ATF ruled and said that only vertical grips are grips, but I'm like, it's called a grip. Like, it's literally called a grip.
Yeah, because dude, understand something. All of it's made up garbage.
Oh yeah, no, I know that.
Garbage.
How does the ATF go from slide fire stocks are okay to they're not okay? They're okay. Oh no, they're not okay.
Jimmy, the crickets, dude.
I think
easy. It's easy. The president of the United States says to make them illegal.
Oh God, we're getting so political right now. Let's go to the next topic.
$85 plus another $45, and you still have to buy sights and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, let's get into the next thing then, which you're not going to mount.
What are we trashing now, Chad?
No. This is at least something halfway reasonable, kind of.
Oh Lord!
But I doubt you're going to put it mounted on your Kidon. This is
you could.
You could, yes. The American Defense Manufacturing Flick 3 with an MSRP of $369. And as you can kind of guess, this is a 3X magnifier. Oh, imagine that. And
2008 called, they want their sighting systems back.
Exactly. I'm thinking they're a little late to the game, but I'm going to be nice to it because, well, basically it's a decent optic supposedly to give you 3X, and all you do is flip the magnifier back and forth in the line of sight. It has titanium locking adjustable quick disconnect mount, so if you're tired of flipping it back and forth and just want to huck it on your bench or in your range bag, you can do that too. But it's aluminum mount over the titanium QD lever. It's got different heights, so depending on what you use, you can get your code to witness, third co-witness. I'm not big on magnifiers. I think they add weight that you don't really need, and I guess maybe there's a use for them, but like Zane said, what was it, 2008?
Magnifiers serve a very specific purpose, and they were good for what they did until the low power variable optics came out, and they're really, I don't want to say useless or obsolete necessarily, but those are the only 2 words coming to my mind.
Hey,
here's the thing.
I thought magnifiers were to allow EOTech to sell more sites.
Maybe.
I mean, I guess
so. Like before the LPVOs were kind of a thing. Like, yeah, that it makes sense because especially if you're trying to get PID on something, or you need to make a more precise shot, or you need to reach out a little farther. More than likely, actually, a more precise shot because we're still dealing with a red dot and holdovers are a thing. So yeah, they were the hotness for a very, very short period of time. But after you pay for a decent red dot and a decent magnifier,
you could
have bought a decent 1-4 and then still have a little bit more magnification on that higher end.
Yeah,
and not have to
5. I mean,
well, I'm just saying you can get 1-4s right now, like some of the cheaper line from Vortex for.
Oh, geez, the cheap line, even
600 under.
Yeah,
under their middle ones.
So what's the MSRP on this thing?
$369. So
$370
for 300 probably.
So you're looking at this plus a regular red dot. You're probably looking at about $900 easy.
Well, and what's the weight on this thing?
They don't have it anywhere.
Yeah,
well, at least it's not in kilograms.
It says available May 2019, and literally this is pretty much all the information I could find on it was what we see. The link takes you to their page, and yeah, that's it. So we don't know what that bothers.
Because my argument for using a 3X magnifier with a red dot is you're not hemmed into an eye box with a variable scope. You can't get but so far away, and you're going to lose it. So if you get in an unconventional position, you're going to have shadow. You're going to have scope ring or whatever you call that. It's just not going to be as easy as shooting a red dot.
Yeah.
And you flip the magnifier up. And weight. Those are the only two things.
That's not untrue. You do get virtually unlimited eye relief. But man, the new optics are getting so much better. They're so hard to tell the difference almost. The eye box is very generous.
Yeah, and
but meanwhile,
amount of offset you can do on the eye boxes.
I mean, if you spent money on like an aim point a couple years back, and you're like, "But I paid a lot of money for this. I don't want to."
Yeah, if you're in love with it, you want to magnify,
then go for it.
But get this: if you don't have either, you can get a 1:8 by 24 illuminated vortex from Brownells for $379.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's gonna do.
That's gonna give you a true 1 all the way to 8, which allows you to identify stuff more and more options. And again, without a weight on this thing, I that's the only thing that to me would offset it. Weight. And the eye box itself.
That's a big thing is the weight. How much does this weigh? Because if this plus your optics going to weigh more
less,
then it definitely doesn't make any sense. If it's going to be a little less, and also, man, they're funky hanging off the side when you're shooting. For one, it can block some of your peripherals, whether that's a problem or not. That's up to you. And I just always feel like it's gonna catch something, or I don't know.
It always is gonna catch something.
It's hanging off the side. That's true. Everything catches something.
But for life, I can't imagine this thing being less than the 2 units being less than 1 unit when it comes to weight.
Well, low power variable optics aren't exactly super light. I mean,
they're not.
You're going for lightweight. And I guess if you do run a red dot, it's got a quick disconnect mount. If like every once in a while, like, I don't know, I could see like if you run a red dot typically and you want to take it out farther, or you're shooting jackrabbits or something and you want a little more range, something like this might be okay. I guess it's personal preference, especially if I could see it if your total thing weighs less than your variable power optic. Okay, I can see it.
Yeah,
Tony, you said the Vortex 1:8 was what, $300, $400?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
this is $370. So you get a 1:8 Vortex optic for the price of a 3-time magnifier.
Yeah.
And to be fair, we don't know the quality of this. This could be, because I know that Vortex y'all are talking about is their entry-level line, which Vortex doesn't make junk, but that is their entry-level line. You're going to sacrifice some glass clarity. There's going to be, maybe there's some eye relief issue. I don't know. I haven't used one. But at the same time, like, you're giving up so much with this that I can't see using any flip out. It's not this one. I just can't see in today's day and age using a flip out magnifier.
Hey, if you're making a 2005 retro card,
you know what? Caveat to that. There are a lot of. I just thought of this. There are a lot of police agencies who have stupid regulations that say you can only have. The patrolman can't have more than a 3x magnification.
They do that?
Because there are agencies that they limit them to 3 or 4 or 5. And if you're limited to less than 4, maybe a flip out might be the way to go for you. Because I would not want to run a fixed power 3 only. I would want to run. So that might be a thing. But if you're allotted 4 power or 5 power, then But yeah, that is a thing with some agencies. I guess they think every patrolman's going to think they're a sniper or something. I don't know the logic behind it. I just know it is a thing.
Yep.
Here's the thing. It took probably 15 years to get the powers that be at a PD to understand you need an optic on top of a rifle in the first place. Yeah. It took another 25 years before that to get these idiots to figure out you needed a rifle in the first place.
Well,
now they finally approved this stuff, and you tell them something about variable power. They don't know what.
Well,
what's that?
And there are agencies I won't name them, but around my area that only allow iron sights on the rifles.
Understand this, guys, because I'm a little bit older.
What?
There were PDs.
Huh?
There were PDs in the 90s that pretty much dudes had to buy SKSs on the force, and some were even still teaching lever actions and had lever action classes. So PDs are way behind the power curve. So don't even think Zane is BSing a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's
a
thing.
Sense. Yeah.
Where I was thinking is, I'm thinking this would be like California or Oregon or maybe New York, but a Florida PD is saying this. Wow.
I just looked something up. Brownells also has an EOTech with a 3X magnifier on it for $829. But when you go check it out, it talks about the eye relief is 2.2 inches with the. So you still have an eye box when you use a magnifier.
Because it's still magnified, you still.
Well, the beauty is if you're in one of those weird positions like you talk about, you're probably not shooting with the magnifier. Yeah. So then you have your unlimited. But yes, using the magnifier, you're gonna and probably a pretty small. The eye relief is probably going to be a pretty small window with a magnifier.
2.2. Yeah. 2.2 inches. Oh, and I love it. It's submersible up to 10 feet.
Oh, sweet. So you can go swimming with it, but not scuba diving.
Yeah.
That's handy because I'm only submersible up to about 10 feet. So,
well, that works for you.
I'm submersible to no feet because that's when the beer gets too darn wet to consume.
Okay.
But I mean,
whatever you just said.
Whatever. Exactly. I don't do the whole freaking water thing. I don't like doing the underwater stuff. Okay, if I was meant to go underwater, I'd have been born with gills. So I stay above water. Thank you very much.
Okay,
well, now that we know Rob doesn't swim, we're moving along to something that maybe Tony can afford.
Nice.
What we have is CCI clean 22 long rifle. MSRP is like $799 for 100. What it is CCI came out with their clean, 22 long rifle ammo. And what it is it's the bullets are coated in polymer, and they say it reduces lead fouling and leaves less residue. Cuts lead buildup in suppressors 60 to 80%. Which that right there catches my eye.
Oh, hello.
Yeah. It's a 40 grain lead round nose bullet. They make a high velocity and they're coated red, and they make blue for the subsonic ones. It basically says bullet geometry is optimized for improved accuracy. I mean, it's a CCI mini mag with clean coated bullets or something. You
blah blah blah.
Velocity is 1235 at the muzzle. Basically it's a CCI mini mag that runs cleaner, and I'm just looking at the 60 to 80% and the less buildup in a suppressor. I might have to buy some of these and try them out.
Oh dear God, yes. I mean, seriously, how crappy is it to go to the range with your 22 suppressor? You come home, it's like you got to take a dowel to and bang the darn baffles out of it.
If it reduces it by 20%, I'm still going to use them.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool though.
Now this is NA for Zane because Zane doesn't like anything that's 22 long rifle. So
now what I found with this is
correct.
What I found with nylon coated bullets, and the only reason I found it is because I was shooting when it was really, really cold out, like 20 degrees. They start keyholing. Like,
really?
Yeah, it was below freezing. I was shooting it, and I'm wondering why I'm coming nowhere near the bullseye. I'm like, okay, I dry fire all the time. I've been shooting well. I just got these new nylon coated bullets. What the hairy frig is going on now? Again, the only thing I've shot it in was my high point pistol, but that shot everything well except that.
Oh, wait, hold on. Wait a minute. Shooting in Florida, freezing weather, not applicable.
Yeah, okay. Like it wasn't cold the other week. But I'm just saying, I noticed that with that pistol, and that pistol fed everything that I could stick in it. Reload, steel case, Russian garbage, all of it. But the only time I was using nylon coated rounds was when it was 22, 23 degrees out, and I was shooting and everything was keyholing at 20 yards.
Now, was that a 9mm or was that a 22 or what?
That was 40.
Okay.
It's 40. So that's my only experience. What's up?
Good information. I mean, I would have had no idea.
Yeah, and again, one round. I forgot the name of the company, but it was just one round out of one pistol. I have some 9mm nylon coated rounds. Maybe I should check that out and see if it acts weird or not. But I know also you will have a point of impact shift.
That doesn't surprise
with nylon rounds.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
Well, what Tony's saying would kind of scare me, because if they would start keyholing as soon as they leave the muzzle, you might get a baffle striker too.
Ooh, yeah.
That would not be good.
That's real important.
Yeah, that's true. So don't use the subsonic ones.
Or maybe I'm being paranoid. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as paranoid.
Will subsonic ammo cycle your machine gun?
No.
No way.
I've got a Ruger 15. Was it the 22 MMP 22? It won't cycle that pistol.
Yeah,
it will cycle my 22 long rifle. My Ruger the 22 long rifle, but it won't cycle the pistol.
But yeah, Zane, it won't, even with the suppressor on, and it has a super weak recoil spring. I mean,
yeah,
I think you could maybe get a different recoil spring, but then I don't think it would actually feed them, because it's
because you remember, in those pistols, you're talking the blowback from the actual round is what's cycling the gun. In the subsonic, they're decreasing the amount of powder in the gun, right? In the bullet, right?
I don't have any semi-auto 22 that will cycle actual subsonic rounds, no matter who they're made by.
I don't have a single semi-auto 22, so
when they're labeled subsonic, standard velocity, yes, which out of a pistol usually are subsonic.
Now, Chad, I've got the 1022 rifle, and it will cycle my 1022s. Subsonic will.
Yeah, see, mine won't.
Okay.
But, hey, it is what it is. But I'm looking to try these. When I see them in the store, I'll probably buy some.
You should run like 1,000 through your machine gun and see how dirty it gets. And then...
No, and this with the suppressor on it, too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
oh, God, yes.
Like, I can only imagine suppressed 22 in full auto is probably... Aside from some muzzle loader stuff, probably the dirtiest thing
what
you
can
do.
Is I can tell you from running it is, if I run suppressed through that gun, I have to clean the conversion kit at 500 rounds.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Or less. I mean, it really depends on what kind of oil I'm running on it.
How often do you have to clean the can for it?
About the same.
Yeah.
You get 500 rounds out of a can. Wow, that's awesome.
Well, it's a 9mm can.
Oh, okay. You're not using a 22.
Because I've got a 22 can, and every time I can take it to the range, I got to take it home, break it apart, with a freaking dowel.
Yeah, and I still have to break it apart with the dowel. But if I shoot over, if I get around 700 rounds suppressed, it actually will start keyholing.
Well, I mean, I might or might not know someone who might or might not have access to a Ruger 1022 with a might or might not side fire stock, which is might or might not legal for the next 30 days, which might or might not be broken in 31 days.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, this would be kind of cool for that.
Yeah.
But you got to admit, there's something really cool when you hear the.
What I like shooting at is when it's like not. When the berms are like muddy, and you
just see the splash, and you don't hear anything.
You hear a click, and you hear this like kind of thud because you hear it like hitting the mud. And
the sound of the action is louder than anything else you can hear.
Yep. Now, before we get into the listener feedback,
Chad, what did you say this goes for 50?
No, it's CCI, so it's 100. It's $7.99 100. So $7.99 per 100. So
okay, I need to buy a few boxes of this.
Yeah, I mean it's basically the same price as CCI mini bags. So I'm just waiting to see some. Before we get into the listener feedback, I actually the review Zane did last week. The guy actually listened to the podcast. I had emailed him the link to it. And he said the reason they make those cases for those particular ones is because that's what the military is using.
That's kind of what I figured, because they're super heavily marketed towards them.
Right. And I was kind of glad but he said thanks for sending him the review and stuff. So cool. We have listener feedback. The first one is from Bill M, and it came through the email. And I think it's really Rob, but you'll figure.
I don't think this is directed to me because I can't do nothing right.
It says, Rob, you have a great show. Informative and humorous without using language. Every other word has to be bleeped out except when he's drunk. Oh.
Wait a minute. I have not cussed tonight.
I know. I hope the show doesn't change. When you, Tony, and Zane start ribbing each other, I start laughing so hard my eyes water. Your podcast is my favorite Firearms Radio Network podcast. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, that just means he ain't listening to the other podcasts on the Firearms Radio Network.
That's hilarious. That's
great. You didn't mention me everywhere, but hey, what the hell?
Yeah. Chad, I think he meant, instead of saying Rob, I think he meant Chad.
It doesn't matter.
Because if somebody's saying this is my podcast, they're off their freaking rocker.
And then
Chad, the only dude that made it to the freaking Zoom meeting yesterday.
And I was the one that was worried about not making it.
Well, I mean, he did post a link like 20 minutes before he,
What a Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
Neither here nor there.
You guys didn't really probably miss anything that you needed to know.
Oh, okay.
All fair. I think this is one of those. And I could be wrong, but like if you listen to We Like Shooting, they'll send reviews where they'll completely leave out Nick or somebody on purpose. And I kind of think this is what this is. If it's not, that's even funnier.
It's even funnier, actually. Yeah.
Either way, I thought it was funny. So
thank you, Bill.
The next one from iTunes. He gave us 5 stars. It's a great podcast. It says Proud Texan 556. Great podcast for gun and gear reviews. They can and do give honest feedback, both pros and cons, since they aren't paid product reviewers. Great group of podcasts. See what you did there? I guess we're podcasts now.
I like it.
Yeah, I kind of thought it was kind of clever too. I also like that they spotlight gear that they have not actually reviewed yet and let you know what they think about it based on just the marketing available. Hey, somebody gets it.
I was going to say this guy gets it. or gal. We can't assume this is a guy.
We all do that.
Cannot.
But we do that every time.
Right. We all do that. So it's cool hearing other people do that on a podcast and getting their impressions from it from their viewpoint. Giving a 5-star review, even though I end up having to fast forward through Tony's 3-minute commercial at the end of each episode. Yeah, I still support the 2A4E. The second is for everyone, since it's an awesome organization. So now it's time for him to fast forward through.
All right, Brad, here you hit the fast forward button a few times.
I purposely
no,
right before Tony's.
No. I'm going to answer this as my. I want to ask this because thank you for the 5-star review, and I hear this a lot from people that say they support what I do, but I have this question to ask: how do you support it? Just saying you support it's not supporting me. Have you donated? Have you donated to our GoFundMe on 2A4E? Go to GoFundMe. Type in the second is for everyone. Have you done that?
Patreon?
We can say.
Hold on.
When was it last year? Even my son donated, and he doesn't even.
Yeah, even your kid. So, my other question is like, have you become a Patreon on Patreon.com for the 2A4E podcast? Have you done that? How are you supporting me? Saying you're supporting me is cool, but it's not really supporting me at all. It's just a sentence. Have you gone to Black Bag Resources and typed in 2A4E and ordered something so we can get it for the diversity shoot? Because if you haven't, then you really haven't supported me at all. Have you gone to 1022 Clothing and bought one of our t-shirts? Because if you haven't, what are you talking about? You support us. How's this? Let me set the bar as low as possible.
Even my cheap ass bought a t-shirt.
I'll set the bar as low as possible. Have you shared the 2A4E podcast on your social media page? I'm asking because exactly.
Thanks.
I'm asking because a bunch of people want to say they support what I do. And I'm not just jumping on him because, again, thank you for the 5-star review. But when you say you support what I do, how have you actually supported it? Talk is cheap.
Along that same line, I see that a lot. And just speaking in general, I see a lot of people post on the internet about they'll never take our guns because we're going to film, we'll rise up and all this. And I'm like, okay, when was the last time you sent $20 to the NRA or Firearms Policy Coalition? When was the last time you called your senator or talk's cheap,
Yeah,
but again, we're not singling this guy out, just in general.
But I'm putting that out to everybody that has the audacity to tell me they support what I do, and they've never financially supported what I do. They've never gone on and bought a ticket. Bought a t-shirt or not even spent money. Share the podcast. Share this podcast. You know what I'm saying? There's ways you can support us without spending a dime. And yet I still don't even see that. How's this? Even write a review of the podcast. How many people listen to this thing and how many reviews do we get? So yeah, saying you support us and actually doing something are two different things. And again, thank you for the 5-star review.
I was going to say, this guy did write a review. He's one of the few that actually wrote a review.
Yeah, exactly.
Or gal. I keep saying guy or gal.
Yeah. All we know is
I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that, but to you and everybody there are ways you can show your support, and that was it. Now, for this 3-minute commercial, I'm not going to do it, but what I want to do is put out word of Trenton on March 26th at 8:30 p.m. We're going to have a march against our governor, and it's not just going to be about guns. It's going to be about everything you despise about this dude, because that's how you make a change. You put shoe leather to asphalt. And you show up and you take a Tuesday off and you make your voice heard. There are lots of ways you can support what I do or anyone does, but it's going to involve you actually doing something, not you saying something.
And
another thing,
to get on Tony's thing, in Oregon, if you want to support the gun rights, March 23rd, noon, Oregon State Capitol. That's where you need to be. There's a bunch of people going to be there. Radiant Weapons has donated a bunch of money and is even getting buses to help haul people in from different parts of the state. Good cause. Be there to show Kate Brown that all of this stuff that keeps getting pushed through, seems like every other day new legislation's getting pushed against us. So be there, please. Now we're back.
You should totally openly carry rifles and wear plate carriers.
No,
I'm joking. You shouldn't do that.
All right, no. You should all buy Tony shirts and wear those.
Hey, yes, you got a rally shirt? I don't make a dime off of it. I make $0 off of it, but I think it's important that if we're going to roll in dressed alike. Have people go, hey, what does all those guys in the blue shirts? You know what I mean? And somebody will have a picture of it, and it will spark a conversation. My shirts, what Maryland has, we will not comply shirts. Hey, it's a thing. Rally shirts are a thing now, dude. We've taken the lessons from Mom's Demand, and people are stepping up going, hey, we got a rally shirt. My rally shirt gives me $0 ducats, but I really think it's important that we get out there. We have to as gun owners. It's time to get up. I don't want to vote from a rooftop. I'm fat and middle-aged. I get winded. I ain't climbing up on no damn roof.
You gotta climb up there? That's the stuff. You got anything else, Tony?
Nope, that's it. Oh, the patch thing, again, go to Indiegogo. Check out the 2A patch batch, 2A patch batch on Indiegogo. It's 12 different Second Amendment content providers of all kinds. You can buy one patch, or you can buy the 12 patches. And get out there early, because you only have until March 13th, and then it's over with.
I'm laughing at the chat. Sorry.
Yeah, I know, it's hilarious.
Oh, geez, what I missed.
The last one. Wrap up. I'm gonna get out of here soon. Maybe send questions, comments, or feedback to gungearreview@gmail.com. Remember to subscribe and leave us an iTunes review. Check out all the other shows on the Firearms Radio Network at firearmsradio.tv. Be sure to visit the Firearms Insider for more reviews. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram at Firearms Insider. Thank you for listening to the largest pound for pound podcast on the network, and we are out.
Bye, Felicia.